Turning Point USA had this women's conference. Pretty smart to make a point to woo women, I say. I have heard some on the far right complain about how most liberals are women. That seems to hold water if you think about it. If there is an entire movement that is largely dedicated, at least it was, to protecting and promoting you, most people would naturally flock to that movement. Because spoiler alert, most humans don't care about truth as much as they care about what do I get out of it. Just like most people don't follow ideas, they follow people, unfortunately. I can hear some dude out there say, no, men could never fall for such carnal ploys. I see your basic boy take and I'll raise you a red pill talking head. During this event, Catholic Owens claims that old Betty Boy of the Shapiro variety sent a spy to record her. She knew the name of the spy and everything. So while standing prominently on stage, her face lit with the bright lights while holding the biggest, toothiest grin, Candace called the girl out by name and asked her to stand up. Surprisingly, the spy did not stand up. I'm not on a crusade for Shapiro, mind you. He's drunk his own Kool-Aid as far as I can tell. You remember the old Shapiro? The nerdy, smart kid that owned the women of the blue-haired clan with a quick retort and a smile? We all loved that kid. It feels he's becoming a crotchety old man in fear of the do as fault kids. But I would never blame a son of Abraham for being hyper on guard with the history they have. If you weren't aware, it goes way back, talking thousands of years. Basically, a good rule of thumb, women hate and Hebrew hate is a fingerprint of Satan. Mark my words, something crazy is coming. But anyways, we're going to go light on the conspiracies, at least we're going to try. Listen, friends, listen. How did Candace find out Ben sent someone? She even had the first and last name of the person. Also, why would she care? Did she forget this wasn't a super secret meeting of the Grand Lizard Overlords held under the Earth's core every year? Like, ma'am, you recorded this event. I saw it at home on Turning Point's channel. No one checked if I had a super secret badge to watch. So, 1, who cares if he did send someone? 2, he wouldn't need to bother sending a spy. He could save the money and have his intern stream it on Rumble. Like, what? I feel like Candace has the most to gain from this victim narrative than Ben would. But let's be studious here. This could be a tactic taken straight from the Logan and Jake Paul playbook. A manufactured outrage loop would mean money, money, money for everyone involved. Game Theory did a video about watch loops and how the Paul brothers use this method to dominate the algorithms. Is that what Turning Point USA and the Daily Wire are doing? We couldn't say for sure. No way to tell for fact. But question, are you stuck in an internet entertainment biosphere, bouncing from 2 warring factions? 2 factions that when you cut down to the bones are actually part of the same broad group, conservatives? When was the last time you watched Netflix? Do you need us to send help? Later, Fuentes comes out and was all, I was done that way too, Candace. He also knew specifics like the first and last name of the spy in question. I can't help but wonder, how did they know? Why should they believe whoever told them? Why should we believe them? We don't know. You can't know for sure. So enjoy the internet responsibly, friends. Keep in mind, it's filled with snake oil salesmen. Learn to eat the meat and spit out the bones. Remember, a Fed is always lurking under the bridge, waiting to hear the rat-tat-tat of someone crossing over so they can entice them with their chicanery. Always assume every stranger might be a liar. And never join a rally you learn about online, not even once. One last thing. After the Ben revelations, Candace said, to know history is to be Catholic. Something like that. She then went on about history of a secret group of people whose mission it is to destroy the West and the Catholic Church. This is my rough paraphrase from memory.
Become a student of history is to become a Catholic. I didn't know what he was talking about, but it sounded pretty because he's got an English accent. And then I started getting into history, and things got really interesting for me. I started noticing some things, and I realized that America's a very young country, and because we're a very young country, some really bad people knew that they could kind of condition Christians to keep dividing and dividing and dividing amongst themselves, and to make it become sort of this my truth, my truth, my truth, we're different from here. And then the more I studied history, there were so many things that were just weird. Like I started studying it through the lens of a holy war, and it's really shocking as opposed to learning things about questions that were never answered about World War II, like why did we drop the bomb on Nagasaki? Well, it was dropped on a Catholic church, you know? Obviously, we know the Nazis weren't good people, but something that was always inexplicable in the textbooks was Dresden, the firebombing of Dresden, which happened on Ash Wednesday, tremendously faithful city. And that just kept happening over and over again, Hiroshima. And it was very hard for me not to see, first and foremost, the Christian conspiracy, full stop, realizing that there's a concerted effort to remove Christ from our classrooms. We learn about the Spanish Inquisition wrong. We learn about, we don't learn, and some things we don't learn. We don't learn about, the Bolsheviks, which it was a Christian Holocaust. The deeper and deeper I got, and I started doing some studying with priests and overseas, and they were like, yeah, it's, Americans know very little about their own history. And so it's been a journey really to the heart of the faith.
Gee, I wonder who she's talking about. Yeah, well, if you're going to be against the descendants of Israel, you might as well be Catholic. They've always been pretty proactive about dealing with the problem. Also, if you read the history of popes and you choose to be Catholic after that, you need to have a long convo with Jordan Peterson. That is to say, you need to see a professional. Or just cling to Jesus and his word. Anyways, that's it from me for now. I got a little extra spicy in this post. I feel a little conflicted about it. But I also think this is stuff that needs to be addressed. Also, I don't want to become cultish in how I approach things. That seems to be easy for us humans to fall into. So I'm trying to thread the line between being normal, funny, with a bit of bite, but still loving and respectful. You shouldn't respect evil though, right? Let me know if you figured out how to balance that.